This past weekend, the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers upset the number 3 Alabama Crimson Tide, and in a game that I was personally at, I witnessed a Tennessee wide receiver torch the Bama defense not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times. Jalin Hyatt had a historical performance for Tennessee, helped them upset the Tide, and now has a case at being the best wide receiver in all of college football. His stats are absurd, he's performed well in big moments, and now he's a big-time 2023 NFL draft name. In today's video, I want you to meet this player as we're going to talk about the rise of Jalin Hyatt, go through his Tennessee career, what happened this past weekend, and then ultimately talk about his NFL future. But before we can get into today's video, we're on the road to 100K, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to support today's video, turn on notifications so you never miss when I upload, and let me know what player or topic I should do next. Now, let's get started with the rise of Jalin Hyatt. So before I talk about today's video, I do a ton of research into every single video I make, but obviously I don't know the full story, so this is the rise of Jalin Hyatt to the best of my knowledge. Before we talk about his early years, let's talk about a quote that Coach Heupel said. He said, quote, "I think he has a really high ceiling. He has always had some physical attributes, but I think he's going to continue to gain strength as he goes through our program, and he has a really bright future." Before he had that bright future though, the Hyatt family grew up in the town of Irmo, South Carolina, and Jalin always loved football. He started playing flag football at the age of 5, and he'd go to the local YMCA and dominate there. His love for the game would only grow, and he became better and better, and was also quicker than all the other players on the field, and he credits Devontae Adams for being his role model. Right before high school, Hyatt discovered his elite athleticism. He said, quote, "My 8th grade year, I was very slow, but my 9th grade year, I started getting in the weight room, and I guess my body started forming up. I went to a regional opening, and that was my first time running a 40, and that time I ran a 4.4, so I knew I had the confidence after that. The next time I ran a 40, it went down to a 4.31, and then the last time I ran it, it was a 4.29. When I started running those times, my confidence got higher, and I knew I was faster than anybody else." He said he first knew he could play college football when he got his first offer as a sophomore in high school, and many more offers would come in for Hyatt, leading him to a point where he'd eventually get to choose a school. After his junior campaign, he decided to commit to Coach Fuente at Virginia Tech. This would be the end of his recruitment, and he'd commit to the Hokies over offers from Tennessee, Michigan, Penn State, Arkansas, Duke, and several other programs. He said, quote, "I love Hokie Nation, I believe in their coaches, and I'm ready to get to work. I love everything about Virginia Tech. They're a great school and have a great coaching staff." Hyatt became the 3rd pledge in the Hokies 2020 class, and he had a huge year, which only made his stock rise. As a junior at Dutch Fork High School, he caught 71 passes for 1,316 yards. But then, Hyatt would start to get wide eyes, and he decommitted from the Hokies, and he decided to reopen his options. As a senior, he had blown up into a 4-star recruit and added more impressive offers to his sheet. He finished his senior campaign with 66 catches for a career-high 1,361 yards and another career-high 26 touchdowns. The team also went 14-0-1, and he was arguably the fastest player in the state of South Carolina, and was obviously a finalist for South Carolina's Mr. Football Award. He didn't end up winning the award, but he'd eventually narrow his choices down to Tennessee, Miami, Florida, and Oregon, and would later go with Jeremy Pruitt and the Tennessee Volunteers. He said, quote, "I just felt Tennessee was the right school, to be honest. I'm just very excited to be a Tennessee Vol." Not only that, but Tennessee had been producing a lot of big-time receivers, and his former teammate Bryce Thompson was also a current starting cornerback for the Vols, so maybe that would help him as well. As a fun fact, Jalin also has a younger brother named Devin, who is already a huge 2023 name and recently transferred to IMG Academy and will likely have another big recruitment. One Tennessee scout was extremely excited about what Jalin would bring to the offense. He said, quote, "Hyatt ran a verified 4.31 at the opening regional, and that speed will bring an element to the offense that Tennessee hasn't had in a long time. To go along with that blazing speed, he has a 6'2" frame that he uses really well. His film is filled with winning 50-50 balls while winning with speed down the field." Everyone was super excited to see what Hyatt would do at Tennessee, and 24/7 Sports Scouts agreed. They listed him as a 4-star recruit, the number 33 wide receiver, and the 197th best player in the class of 2020. So, how would Hyatt end up doing in Rocky Top? When Jalin arrived in Knoxville, he was taken under the wing of Velus Jones Jr., who was an upperclassman receiver on the team, and it turns out he'd be a pretty good mentor for him, as Velus Jones became a star for the Vols and is now with the Chicago Bears. With recent guys such as Juwan Jennings, Marquez Callaway, Tyler Bird, and Brandon Johnson all leaving, he'd also have an opportunity to see some early playing time. At the time, Jarrett Guantana was the quarterback, and highly recruited Harrison Bailey was his backup. Apparently, both Bailey and Hyatt developed a strong connection, but as we all know, Jarrett G would end up becoming that guy. Hyatt would earn early playing time, as he would finish third on the team behind Velus Jones and Josh Palmer. He finished the year with 20 catches for 276 yards with 2 touchdowns. Hyatt's best game of the season would come on the road against Vanderbilt, as he caught 5 passes for 81 yards and a touchdown, and he also had 2 catches for 86 yards and a score in a loss to number 2 Alabama. Hyatt had broken out as a true freshman, and many were really excited to see what he would do in year 2 under Pruitt's system, except Pruitt would no longer be the coach. After everything that went on behind the scenes, and with Pruitt's inability to win games, they decided to fire him and move on to Josh Heupel. He had blown up at Oklahoma, Missouri, and UCF, and he'd bring a fast, up-tempo offense that was very friendly to wide receivers. Unfortunately, though, things would not go according to plan for Jalin. He finished 4th on the team behind Cedric Tillman, Velus Jones, and Javonte Payton, as he only caught 21 passes for 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. He basically had an identical stat line to 2020, and it seems his production flatlined in an offense even in practice. We play the big teams, and we're going against their great guys. So if you go out there and believe you're the best player in the league or the country, you can put that on film. So with Velus Jones off to the NFL, the Volunteers would bring back Cedric Tillman, former blue chip Rebel Keaton would step up, and then former 5-star USC transfer Brew McCoy would come in. Hyatt had the opportunity to reclaim himself as the number 1 receiver on the team. In week 2 against Pitt, Hyatt caught 11 passes for 73 yards, and then against Akron, he had 5 catches for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. He continued to play well in Tillman's absence, as he catch 5 passes for 58 yards against Florida, and then 4 for 63 and 2 scores against number 25 LSU. He was now the best receiver on the team. The Volunteers were 5-0, and they had a huge game with Alabama. As I said, I was personally at this game, and it was truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and Hyatt was a big reason for that. Tennessee took an early lead, but eventually would go back and forth, and Hyatt had an unbelievable day. He caught 6 passes for 207 yards and 5 touchdowns, and eventually led Tennessee to a 52-49 win. This is the best wide receiver performance against Alabama in college football history. He had the best single game performance in Tennessee football history, and he had one of the most memorable receiver performances in recent memory. After the game, he said, quote, "To be honest, I didn't know I was going to have 5 touchdowns. It was just the looks, what they were showing us, and what we came to the sideline, and what we thought would work. It's a lot that goes into it as to how we game plan and how we prepared, and we knew we could execute on big plays. We knew that coming into the game, and we had to do it if we wanted to win. I'm proud of everybody in the locker room, and we're on to the next one." So on the year, Hyatt has 33 catches for 598 yards and 10 touchdowns, which is good for the 21st best in the country. His touchdowns, though, are best. He currently has 10, and the 2 guys behind him are Charlie Jones and Marvin Harrison, who both have 9. Because of his historical performance, a couple good things have happened to Hyatt over the last few days. He was added to the Blitnikoff watch list, and now has partnered with an apparel company to make a shirt after his historical performance. I'm going to leave a link down below if you want to check that out. But for now, Hyatt is starting to fly up 2023 NFL draft boards, is putting his career together, and could be argued as the most impactful or best wide receiver in all of college football. But that is up for debate. If you're a Tennessee fan, what do you think of Jalin Hyatt and this year's team? Who is the best wide receiver in all of college football? And what player or topic should I cover next? Be sure to let me know down below, leave a like if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.